disidentify with negative thoughts. And the danger is that then you disidentify with positive thoughts too, because your mind has just learned to identify with thoughts as a fundamental existential condition that you found yourself in essentially as a baby. It was a very early association. Thoughts are me. World is there. And there's truth to that. Matter is the stuff outside you, yes. But here, it's much more tricky. You have to release into what the cognitive system wants to do. And you can't fight thoughts with language. You say, don't think that, the hesitancy, the cutting it off with other verbal dialogue that comes in and blocks something in your head. That's not helpful. That's just putting something off. If negative thoughts come in, all you can do is sit back for a second and look at them. Totally objectify the negativity to realize that it's happening. And then, calmly, after that's clear, after the objectification process has pushed you away from it existentially and emotionally, then you can start to re-engage in another thought, a prayer perhaps, or just a pleasant song to listen to, or something that will then redirect your mind towards better topics. But if negativity comes in again, down it goes again. Just look at it. Look at it, objectify, distancing, then put it aside. And keep doing that. Eventually it'll roll through. There's only so much negativity in there because you're actively, with the will, seeking love and seeking expressions of love. And that will just keep the information field rolling through you. And the negativity will come out, the entropy will come out, the noise will come out, and you just vomit up all the noise and the negativity and the entropy, and eventually you become clear. Signal, never totally. You can never be God, you can never be pure signal, but you get closer and closer as time goes on. Eventually it becomes exponential. This is what the transcendental object at the end of the time does. It's the suction vortex into transcendence. Existential transcendence. Sometimes I can't stand this New Age language, but my God, there is some good stuff to it. This vibration of the material ultimately is just a really dense, totally still vibration, essentially. That's why it's solid. That's what solidity is. Unless when you look close, and then you can see there's actually space in between everything. But it's only when you look close. It's like Mario looking at the pixels going, what's the mushroom made of pixels about? It's not the point. The point is, what is solid, what is the set, what is the scenery? And what you're doing is you're carving time. You are carving time with your experience into form by freezing time. Every moment is a quantum frozen unit of time, a qualia shape. It's a frozen unit of time that you're activating. It's like a sculpture made of matter, because matter actually does contain all the information that's needed on certain time scales. Your brain does contain the code for this current qualia shape in the form of a logic gate being perturbed in a certain way. And the time scale we know is about 300 milliseconds, and that's the time scale of human consciousness. To be like what it is like. It's a sculpture that we're making every second, and one life is like a beginning and an end. It's a story. It's an aesthetic project of God's to create these human stories, which are like little terrariums of, made of frozen light. And then the information gets downloaded to higher levels, and God knows what the transcendent experience is. But there's something special about being in matter. Carving the marble with your will of the object, who is love. That's a special experience. And you only get it once. I mean, this is something that Christianity gets right. You don't bet on reincarnation. That's somebody else's terrarium. You get your terrarium. Your terrarium. Your Joseph Cornell box to decorate with your will. Be careful how you spend it. That's it. That's what grows into the bloom of your understanding in love, which is the heavens. What's going on now is determining a lot of things about what goes on later. Aesthetically, in terms of the aesthetics of your experience and the quality of it, the emotional quality of it and the cognitive quality of it, particularly the emotional, because again, it's a ride first, really. It's a game first from the inside. This is what we need to keep remembering. And you're carving light. Yes, that's what's going on. The will carves light into form. Over time, on an object, which becomes a sculpture piece about you. Your book on the wall, you know? That's what a human life is. It's an art project that God worked on. And all the stuff that we think of as materialism and stuff is just, that's just looking at the pixels and not understanding what the game is. Because it's just frozen light. And then you can make up whatever story you want. Look close enough in its space, look far enough in its, you know, if we could look far enough back cognitively, ultimately, reality, I think, is a woman. A sculpture of some kind. A super reality sculpture carved by the will into beauty. This is why Mary is God's art project, right? This is an idea in Catholicism. Mary is God's work of art. That's literal. He carved her into being through his will. That's what the Jesus reality object looks like. Looks like Mary, our Holy Mother, forever a virgin, the perfect mother for all time, with infinite love from her Immaculate Heart. That's God's Immaculate Conception. And you have your own reality to carve. It's called your life, you know. And what kind of story is it going to be? And how connected are you going to be with something that's going to want to play back and reproduce itself as a kind of meme? Reproduce itself. You don't want to be the bad guy. No one wants to reproduce the bad guy in the long run. He gets it. You want to be something that wants to reproduce. Because that's how you win the game. Okay. Change your life to make it an art project carving light into form. That's my suggestion to you. Become a Christian, become ethically perfect, and submit to the art project. It's a whole lot more fun than whatever it is you're doing. Bye-bye.